Well, hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Inexperience Points. I am your host, Zach.
I am Savvy.
And I am the Zorby.
And hopefully, welcome back. Yeah, hopefully, welcome back. This is
Welcome
only our
back.
third episode, so if
Right.
it's not welcome back, welcome for the first time. We hope you stick around and enjoy the content.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We are just three somewhat adults navigating life. We don't have a lot of experience in many things, but what we do, we have opinions on. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah. And I think there was a couple topics that we wanted to talk about in this particular episode.
Ooh.
We should start first with
SheHulk?
SheHulk.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
100%.
First of all,
It's like,
I wasn't looking for you to finish the sentence. I just couldn't find the words, so thank you.
he said green lady.
The angry green lady.
Before we move forward, did you say ooh?
huh?
Did you say ooh or ooh?
I heard ooh.
I heard ooh.
I
Yeah.
probably said ooh.
Okay.
But
You fucking weeb.
Ah, dude, you should play Final Fantasy with me. You'd fit right in.
is that like a... Is that more like an anime thing? Or part
Ooh?
of a... Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do it like, ooh.
No.
more
Ooh.
like
No,
that.
those are different things.
Yeah.
So ooh is like.
But sometimes I do the
Yeah.
ooh,
Ooh
ooh.
woo is like
It's
you're
like a-
watching a little too much anime.
It's a cringy meme.
Yeah.
And it's literally
Really?
like, you know, in chat speak, it's like you, it's like makes a little face. And
It's
now
the
we just-
RAR XD.
UWU? Is that it? Or
yeah,
the,
that's ooh.
Yeah. It's the
Oh.
RAR XD of this day and age.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
RRT.
I mean, I didn't know that. But I'm going to say it, though. I just don't say it like that. I mean, I don't know.
thought you were
Yeah.
like nerding out over there, like, ooh.
Oh.
Turns out, first of all, I can't hear.
Oh.
No, I think you can hear
Learning
because
all these new things today. I don't know what's going on.
I thought the same thing. I thought he said ooh woo as well. That's what I
But
heard.
was he? He didn't know what he was saying. He
Yeah.
didn't know the power he had in that moment.
I said it, but I didn't know that it hold that like significance. So
Yeah.
He didn't know how much power he had, and now it's gone.
I'm still gonna say it because I don't really think about that. I don't watch a lot of anime.
All right.
I don't know.
It's okay. I mean, we're not trying to throw shade your way or anything like that.
It's okay. I'm already dark.
You know, I like being able to
But-
explain like anime stuff to you.
Yeah. It's nice to not know everything sometimes.
We had to stop the conversation on SheHulk. We had to address this real quick, eh?
Yes.
Yes,
With
Listen,
it.
before we go on any further, you know what you just said.
Did you just say ooh?
That was kind of frightening. I was like, wait a minute. It's like, oh no, is this a slur or something? I'm like, God, please no. Like, no.
Am I the hate crime? Oh no.
Wee woo, wee woo. Okay. SheHulk.
Yes.
She-Hulk, okay.
She-Hulk. Have you watched She-Hulk?
I have actually watched both episodes.
Okay.
So
We'll
I'm
only
just gonna
touch
talk
on
about
one.
like the beginning because for some reason the episodes are like mixed up in my head, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
ruin
Yes, Savannah has only seen episode 1.
Yes, I've seen her like just episode 1. I think I only watched it when one episode was out, but I just watched it like yesterday or 2 nights ago with my roommate.
Mhm.
So it must have been released
It was
literally
2
like-
nights ago. It's every Thursday.
Okay,
that it
yeah.
comes out, yeah.
So we had
12
just
a.m.
missed episode 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
technically.
Oh
so.
yeah, we just.
So what did
missed-
you think about episode 1? Did you like it?
Okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with She-Hulk as a character. She was basically created, if I am remembering correctly. I read a lot on the internet, and sometimes wires get crossed and information is incorrect. But from what I had learned a while back, She-Hulk was basically created because, like, the Hulk television show, like, they could have made a She-Hulk, and as a big FU, Marvel was like, we're gonna make her a comic first before you guys get the first make of her. And so from what little I've read of her, because I just was never fond of like her character design for a while, she kind of was funny, was kind of cool. Like I'm definitely supposed to be the demographic of people who should like her, because like, you know, she's like Jennifer Walters, like I'm a Hulk, but I'm also a super smart like lawyer lady. Just was never my jam, but I wanted to come to this with like an open mind. Just because like I do like that Marvel is making these characters like their own shows and giving them like the care like I feel like they deserve, even if I'm not too fond of like She-Hulk. I feel like episode 1 had a lot going on for itself, but I loved it. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I love that she breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, I did want to touch on that
Yeah.
specifically because it was jarring to me not knowing anything about She-Hulk.
Okay, so she does sometimes break the fourth wall in the comic, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so what I was reading is when she was first originally like got her own comics in the 60s, she did break the fourth wall a lot. She would also jump out of like comic panels and travel over other comic panels to reach like the next scene specifically. So there was a lot of things that they did.
She's cool.
With that. Apparently it died down for a little bit and then they kind of made her fourth wall break a little more. But I still don't understand if it's like part of her like power set that she, like Deadpool for instance. She was before Deadpool though.
Yeah.
And as far as like creation goes.
Oh, she was before Deadpool.
Yeah, so it wasn't taken
she was
from
the first.
her. Yeah.
She
She was the first character to break the fourth wall. It was part of her like gimmick.
Beautiful.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
I love it. I think like Deadpool breaking the fourth wall has definitely overkilled it for me. Just in pop culture today, like I like to be immersed in worlds and everything. And Deadpool breaking the fourth wall does bring you into his world. Like when Gwenpool came out, like she kind of did that as well, and like her whole like process of being able to break the fourth wall is that she's from our world, like now in the comic world.
Yeah.
And like that's like was too much for me. I'm like, I don't need someone from like our world to like break the fourth wall because like they're trying to meet us where they're at. Gwenpool was pretty cool though.
Yeah.
But I just felt like Deadpool did it enough for me to where like I was still immersed into his universe, and I was worried coming into She-Hulk, which is why I wanted to watch it because I was curious just to see how I'd feel. I was worried that her fourth wall break would actually take me out of it, but it was just done enough in episode 1 to where it didn't bother me. Like I love where she was like lawyer show.
That's what I was gonna say. That
Like-
scene specifically.
Like that, like
Yeah.
just cracks me up. Like where I'm like, okay, like she's not being like Deadpool, like, and this is where we kill them. Like
Yeah.
she's like, just kind of being funny about it, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. And they expand on it a little more. I won't like say anything specific about it, but it seems like it's being implemented into the show in a not, like you said, like a not Deadpool way. It's not like I don't know. It's like yeah, just a not Deadpool way is the best way of like explaining that, I guess. Yeah. But
If I remember correctly, there was a moment where she acknowledged the audience in episode 1, and she kind of
does
threw
it-
her off.
she does it at the very beginning of the show.
No, it's when she's
She
Hulk.
talks directly to the camera.
Right, because she's already like acknowledging that she can.
At that point, she's already like, because that technically the first scene is like in once she already has her powers. But yeah, it's I think when her and Bruce are building the bar again, she
Yeah.
turns to the camera and she goes like, "Yeah, can you believe that?" And then she like kind of looks like Bruce looks at her, and then she looks like she like looks at where she's talking, and then like looks around like confused.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was talking about, because they had the whole fight about, you know, her going back to her regular life and whatnot, and they break the bar, and he was just like, I respect that if you go back and whatnot.
Yeah.
And she was like, he doesn't really mean that. I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't even know that she.
Yeah, that's what she
She was
says.
a character that breaks the fourth wall. Actually, I learned it right before, like a couple of days before.
Yeah.
The second episode dropped, because I want to watch the episodes in like, a couple of episodes. So it's like sort of like an hour. You know what I'm saying? So, when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like I'm okay with like when the characters break the fourth wall and all that. I'm not personally, I'm not a fan of it, but I mean it was enjoyable, much more enjoyable than Deadpool, I would say. So yeah, so far so good.
Okay, onto the Deadpool fourth wall breaking. Sometimes I'm okay with it, and sometimes I'm not. And it's because Ryan Reynolds, like his whole like the way he carries himself, is perfect for Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like everyone agrees.
He's
like
charming.
Like and like everyone just agreed like he's the perfect guy for Deadpool, and I agree to that. But sometimes when Deadpool or Wade will like break the fourth wall to talk to us, it doesn't feel like Wade is talking to me or Deadpool. I feel like Ryan Reynolds is talking to me.
Yeah.
And that's where it feels like I'm taken out of his universe. Because I'm like, well, of course, like, Ryan Reynolds is talking to me. That's possible. I want to feel like Wade Wilson is, like, crazy and talking to me through the screen. And sometimes, like, because now I feel like he's just getting typecasted. Like, his whole Pikachu thing, right? Too, like, kind of felt weird. Like, it was hard for me to get out. I was like...
Because he got cast as Pikachu.
As Detective Pikachu. Yeah, like,
yeah.
I loved it. Like,
Which is a great movie.
It is. Like,
Good
I loved
movie.
it. But so there was moments where I'm like, Ryan Reynolds is talking to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's, like, kind of, like, his little bit of a downfall. I'm going to watch anything he's in, by the way. Like, he's going to get my money regardless. Like...
Yeah, that
Free Guy, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I watched it just because it was
So did I, and it was all right.
Yeah.
It was a movie. It existed.
I fell asleep
Yeah.
mid movie. I mean, it was it was enjoyable until it wasn't. So I don't remember like what happened at the end.
Yeah.
But what's just interesting is that when you talk about like him playing Detective Pikachu and all you hear it's him, but it's kind of like it's him talking, not Pikachu,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Absolutely.
but when it came to what's the movie I just watched, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Okay.
And
I haven't seen
Idris
2
Elba plays Knuckles. It wasn't bad. Like I've heard like I don't know who played Knuckles and like Sonic Heroes and everything like that in the shows, and it's kind of like the same kind of like voice throughout all the games and whatever shows and whatnot. But his voice was so different for Knuckles, but for some reason I didn't picture Idris playing or
Okay,
talking.
so like it fit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oddly enough, it fit, and I actually enjoyed, his character and enjoyed Knuckles in the movie. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I
That's
thought it was
cool.
great.
Yeah.
But there are some people who play like certain characters to where it's kind of
You
like,
can't see him outside of that role.
yeah, like it
Yeah.
was really hard for what movie was it? Maui for Moana and The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
Yeah. At first, it was kind of like, but the more I got into the movie, I was like, okay, kind of tell them apart in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked SheHulk. I thought it was cool. Like, I think her as a hero is super cool. I like the back and forth between her and Bruce. And I like how she's like, "Oh yeah, this is so easy," and he gets jealous and just vaults a rock out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What?" Like,
He's like, OG.
yeah.
It's that
Us
family
to
like
show
banter.
that to show that obviously they're related and they have this good back and forth, and that like he's still as easily as she's coming into her powers, he still is obviously way stronger.
Yeah.
If he wants to be.
I do like, and I kind of do and I don't. Because, like, Bruce is my man. Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner, is my man. Like, I love him.
Yeah.
And all respect to the other two Hulks. I cannot remember their names right now. Gosh.
The previous one, Edward Norton.
Yes.
I love Mark Ruffalo, but that
He was the Hulk.
Yeah.
But, like, I just love Mark Ruffalo and, like, him as Bruce Banner. Because, like, he does, like, have, like, this, like, guy thing about him going on.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy and feel for Bruce in the way where, like, he has, like, this whole thing where he's like, this is a life thing, and I'm going to help, like, you through the way that I wish someone had helped me because I found my inner peace after, like, this decade. And
Yeah.
Jennifer Walters, in, like, the most, like, stick it to the man kind of way, she was like, I have to be, like, on edge all the time because XYZ. And I was like, okay, I get that.
That scene specifically, I did not like that scene. It felt very much like men writing women. And it was just, I think when it comes to a show, you need to show, like, actively what, like, she has to do in her everyday life. It's fine if, like, that, I understand, like, that dynamic as, like, a woman and being like demeaned by men
Yeah.
or like hit on all the time. And they literally show those exact examples. They show
Right.
at the beginning that dick of a lawyer's being like, dude, you're a woman, shut the fuck up. And then like later on at the bar, she gets hit on.
Yeah.
And like also causes her to rage into her Hulk form. And I think that's fine, but then when you're sitting there like having to spell it out to people, I think it's kind of like. But I think all of these new heroes too have this awkward growing pain. They had the same thing with. Have you guys watched Moon Knight or like?
Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
Moonlight.
Moon Knight was actually done really, I think, honestly, the best of the newer shows. But what's her name? Miss Marvel. Have you guys watched Miss Marvel?
I've
yet?
Yeah.
yet to watch
Yeah,
hers.
yeah.
You haven't watched it. She's still younger protagonist, but she had like these weird kind of growing pains as a hero. She definitely came into it, I feel.
Yeah.
Great Miss
Yeah.
Marvel. But
I think so.
yeah, all these newer heroes have these like weird growing pains. I think that's just part of the show.
Yeah.
But I did look it up just for reference. Woman writer and 2 women director team.
No, yeah, I was gonna say like
So.
it's a woman.
Yeah.
The-
For She-Hulk or for
She-Hulk.
For She-Hulk, yeah.
Okay.
That moment though, where she like kind of talks about like how she's like in control of her feelings, made me feel like I was listening to a Reddit like Ask Women post, and like as a woman, I totally identify with what she said in that moment. But it also was just like as a girl, like I get it. Like there are moments where I'm like I should probably hold my tongue because like this guy could probably punch me out right now or something like that. Like that's
Yeah.
like a legit thought we have, but I'm also not trying to like sit here and plead my case like, well, you know, you guys could kill me at any moment.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like that's not my jam.
I think it was accurate. It was accurate, accurately depicting like a situation that women have to deal with.
Absolutely.
I think it just was done in a very like in your face way, and I think that a lot of people didn't take it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was
Specifically.
like too woke in a sense. It wasn't delivered
Exactly,
in a,
which-
like you were talking about, like that.
Well,
You know,
if you look at the rest of how she acts in the show, like as a lawyer, she should be level-headed, and she's a great lawyer in the MCU. Like she, or not MCU, but like in the Marvel
In the
universe, in the
comics, yeah.
comics, like she goes up against Matt Murdock for this trial that they were doing, and she wins it, and it's like she's just that great of a lawyer. And so Jennifer Walters, like being like level-headed and like thinking things through, makes sense because that's just like her.
Yeah.
Like
Jeez,
and
against
also
Matt
being able
Murdock.
to have like that ability to change back and forth from She-Hulk. You know, like that is like
Yeah,
just because
that
she has
will.
that control.
Yeah, it's interesting. The show definitely has promise, especially leading into episode 2, which we won't really touch on. At
I'll
least
watch it
now,
tonight.
maybe next episode we'll talk a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely some things to talk about. But yeah, I think I see where it's going, and I like it. I like where it's going.
I like it. I was laughing a lot. I haven't been watching all the Marvel shows like in the proper orders. But the last one I watched that kind of like left me with feelings was Winter Soldier.
oh, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
There we go, Falcon.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Hawk,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's not the correct name. But like that one left me feeling kind of way. Like, and I like their buddy cop like deal they had
The
going on.
dynamic between them, yeah.
But I'm like, man, this like makes me feel a little more relieved. Like, I was like, oh, she's just funny.
Yeah, I wanted to enjoy Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just think that for the time that it came out, it was trying to. I think it was the most woke out of all the shows, and it was too much.
A lot of people feel that way,
Yeah.
and they changed. You know that they changed like the storyline halfway through that show. Like they recorded a bunch of stuff and then they changed the entire storyline because if the entire storyline was like about like a pandemic, like a virus or something. So in the light of like everything else, they did a bunch of ADR and changed it.
Whoa, didn't know that.
Yeah, which I think sucked and made the show a little worse. I enjoyed it. I like Sam coming into the role of Captain America for sure. I'm glad they didn't go the Bucky route of him being Captain America.
Yeah.
He's White
Yeah.
Wolf.
I thought at first, I'm like, oh, I would think this is a good way to go, but watching the first episode and then going on, I was like, no, Sam better suits the character, and especially like his role and all that kind of stuff. So the way that it all transpired, I was like, but there was just a lot of stuff in there. I'm like, it could have gone on without it, and like what was shown. Have you watched it?
Yeah.
You watched it, okay.
Yeah.
All right. But like stuff like when, what I thought was like really good to the show was that scene where I think it was Zemo. That's his name. I don't know why I'm spacing out on his name, but when they went to that club and he forgot what he told the Winter Soldier, but he goes all crazy, buck wild, and freaking tears up everybody, which is great. I love it when they get to that point and whatnot. But I like stuff like that where it works with the character development and whatnot. But I only saw it like once, or I saw it a couple times because of Twitter. But the whole thing is just like that kind of character development. I'm not sure if he was faking it entirely or he was just like going along with it. But the way that it went about, I was like, it's interesting. Just like the way that they're developing his character. So when they did with Sam, I was like, oh, this is great. But there was a lot of like extra stuff into it that was just like, I understand what they're coming from and trying to, appease a lot of people. But, it's,
Okay.
yeah, for me. But She-Hulk, I think it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
To say the least.
I have to watch the second episode and the rest of the season as it comes out, but I have high hopes for it.
I think you'll like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go to a good place, and all these shows and stuff, they're introducing these new characters. I'm glad to see them introduce these characters that'll have just really interesting impacts on the MCU as a whole. And I love the fact that we're getting a new Daredevil show.
Yeah, with the same guy.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because I really liked him.
I hope that they bring him back and Kingpin back. But have you watched Hawkeye yet?
No.
Have you watched Hawkeye?
Hawkeye, yeah. I watched it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Yeah, overall, but
it's not like all like it stands out, but
it's not like the greatest show.
Yeah,
I mean Loki was definitely.
I'm not expecting much from any of these shows. You know what I mean? But I think it's Loki and then Scarlet Witch or
WandaVision. That one was really good. Yeah. I love like comics and everything, and it is a bit weird that I haven't watched all the shows. And part of that for me is that nobody hates their own fandom more than the people in the fandom. And you could apply that statement to anything. Like, no one hates Batman more than the people who love Batman, or like Star Wars or whatever.
No one hates RuneScape as much as the people who play RuneScape.
Star
like,
Wars,
seriously,
Star
that's
Wars
currently
fans.
me right now with Monster Hunter. I hate that game so much, and I play it every single day.
Goodness, that's how I feel about Destiny. But
yeah. But like, I got to this point to where like I would just angry watch like Marvel like stuff. Like I'm like I just like turn on TV and be like, fucking WandaVision. And it was a great show, by the way. But I was just like angry, and I was like, I need to take a step back, like in just.
You get burnt out when there's too much MCU stuff. I get 100% burnt out. I don't want to watch more. I don't like. I'm like, I get it. Superpowers, cool.
And I'm trying like not to. I'm trying to change my approach with the MCU, because they are like confirmed their own part of like the multiverse, like the MCU. Like, so something that really like bothered me for a while was like, well, it's not like the comics, or this didn't happen in the comic in this way and stuff. And it just like kept getting under my skin to where I just couldn't enjoy like the story being told. Like for a while there, like I was really upset that Adam Warlock only got teased in like the Guardians movie and never showed up in Infinity War. Because if you've read like the Infinity Gauntlet, like he's in it. And so like I was like, I didn't even get to like fully enjoy the awesomeness of these movies that I get to be alive to watch, because I was upset that like Adam Warlock got teased in the wrong movie. you
Yeah.
know, which he's gonna be in like the next one, but thank God.
Still sucks.
Yeah, but I was like, I
Yeah.
should take a step back because I'm not even enjoying these things that I grew up loving.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and
Mhm.
some people do the thing too. They go like, it was a big thing with a game that's coming out. They talk about the jossification is the word that they use of the MCU, and how the dialogue in it is just cringy and the jokes are dumb. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as of late, it's been more of like jokes instead of, because that's the thing. When we read the comics and we see like some of the characters' origins are much darker than what's in the MCU.
Yeah.
Their characters are, are much more crazy, and there are some like some racist stuff inside of them, but even still, like changing. I would say changing up so much of the origin, it doesn't feel like that's the character, anymore. It's kind of like this really didn't happen like it did in the comics, so why are they acting this way? And if they are acting this way, then why don't you include it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's exactly the same reason why everyone hated the new Spider-Man, Tom Holland. They hated him in the first movie. The second movie, people were like, he's all right, whatever. I still don't really like him, not as much as the other guys. And then the third movie hits, and you realize this is all his origin story. This is all leading to the Peter Parker that we normally have. And then people went, that is fantastic. That's great. I love it now.
Plot twist, he's not coming back anymore.
That is not a plot twist. That is a Sony problem.
Yeah.
Just
But
kidding.
that's
Wait,
the
is he
thing,
really
though. I
not
love
coming
it.
back?
I've seen some stuff on it. I don't know if it's confirmed. I know
think
that
they have
his
to figure it out.
Yeah, if his interest is not to come back as a Spider-Man, then that's
So-
totally him.
Yeah.
I know like Sony and Disney like have like a bunch of stuff they have to work out, and I feel like every other day I'm getting a new like update. Like, no, Sony is not going to have a new Spider-Man movie, and if they do, it's not going to be in the MCU. Like, there's a bunch of stuff. And I think currently there is a maybe yes right now that he will be in another movie, but I think it actually depends on Tom himself because he said he felt like he would be failing, and I might be paraphrasing this wrong. He didn't like the idea of him being 30 years old playing like teenager Peter Parker. And he's like he's my age. He's like 27 or 26 something.
Yeah.
And I get that, but I'm also like, please do another movie because I really enjoy like Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I hope he stays, but I wouldn't want him to just be typecasted as a kid.
The perfect thing for them to do is to lead this next movie into either like you've seen the new Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Like they teased Venom, or go into the Sinister Six, leave it with them killing him and leaving the mantle to a Miles Morales. Which would be, and then we get a young Miles Morales that maybe he had trained up the whole movie. Is there too late to save Peter, and Peter dies at the end of that movie?
In the first movie, Childish Gambino's character, he played a character. I cannot remember the bad guy's name, but he's like Miles's uncle.
Prowler? Is it
Prowler,
Prowler?
I think it is.
Yeah,
And
he technically plays Prowler.
Yes. There we are. So his character, and this is possible, they kind of set that up, even if it was just like a little teaser.
Yeah.
He said in the first movie, he's like, yeah, I gotta go check on my nephew, like Miles and stuff. And like, that was like this big old thing. Like, I caught that immediately. And I was like, Miles Morales is in this universe.
Yeah.
So like, if they do kill off Tom Holland, they still have like a whole 5-year-old going on there. But I mean.
Yeah, I mean, he technically exists. I'd love to see a live action Miles.
I don't think they should, though, because if it's all his origin story, like, that's great. And personally, I liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man a little bit more.
Okay.
But I mean, I still enjoyed Tom Holland's. Like, he did incredible, definitely fit. I mean, all of them had something,
Yeah.
but Tom Holland definitely fit like the young Peter Parker role, and I think he can be like an older, well into his 20s, late 20s, early 30s, whatever, Spider-Man. I just think that if they do, it's great to introduce Miles, but have, Spider-Man like I don't know. I think he should survive. But the only thing is that going back to the, if he's like still playing Spider-Man and all that. The last time I checked, last week, there was a whole thing talking about Andrew Spider-Man and him meeting up with was it Tom Hardy's Venom?
Yeah, Venom.
So the movie with that, and then Tom Holland, if they do, they're gonna have 2 Spider-Man movies. Yeah. So if he does agree and things are not worked out, even still, that movie is still gonna happen one way or another. Andrew Garfield's one.
Yeah.
And then and so I mean, like, I don't think it's a bad thing to have 2 different. I don't know. For some reason, like, I know, like, superhero movies, they're too much at one point, but for some reason, like, 2 different stories. I don't know. I think it's kind of creative in a sense.
I'm fine. I'm honestly fine with that. Like, we had like the Spider-Verse movie, and then like the most recent one. Gosh, I forgot the title of it. The most recent Spider-Man movie, like
No Way Home.
Thank you, No Way Home. Like, those didn't come out too far apart. Like, they both were this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm fine with it. And the Spider-Verse is huge, so I think it would just be really awesome to have it on many forms of media.
Yeah. Well, there's so many like they're going right now. The MCU is leading into a multiverse situation. Obviously, if you've been watching any of the new MCU,
especially Loki, my God.
Especially Loki, yeah. So with that being said, like, Spider-Man is one of the major components in multiversal, like, communication and like travel, and like I'm not opposed to having an older Spider-Man either. Let's have right now he got out of high school. Let's have college Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Let's move on to that. Let's make him adult Peter Parker. Let's get if we don't kill him off and leave it to Miles, let him train Miles up over a couple movies, and then have him retire with MJ, like, someplace. Like only for him to come back and make this heroic, later on and
like the Dark Knight Rises kind of ending. Just like the way that it ended there. I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but I mean, for Spider-Man, I mean, I would think that makes sense.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, though, I'm just gonna say this. I know I go off on a tangent a lot, but the biggest thing, though, that I really don't like about the MCU, it's how some characters are not in anymore. Like, I understand contracts and all that, but the Captain America that we've grown with and Iron Man, like, I get it, but it's just kind of like I can't picture. It's kind of like going along with the comics. Like, they were Infinity War, everything like that, Secret Wars, all that kind of stuff. Like, those characters are present, so recasting them is kind of like, oh, okay, So for me, I'm like, I'm not as excited for the future in a sense, just because of, this is how it goes. But
I mean, well,
it's new.
There's like that whole thing going on with T'Challa, Black Panther. Like, we lost Chadwick Boseman, like, tragically, and like there's probably like this whole new phase that like had to be rewritten or redone in certain ways because we don't have him now. Yeah. I'm excited to see where Black Panther goes. I'm a little saddened, like, no one could have predicted like Chadwick passing this soon, but I'm a little saddened that they killed off Killmonger because he would have been perfect to take up the mantle for T'Challa.
Yeah.
However, they would have written him out and stuff. I mean, like, it's a movie. They could always revive someone. Shuri's going to obviously take it up for a quick minute, which leads her. I'm pretty sure this is just a prediction. She's going to, like, introduce us to Ironheart, who is the one who takes on Iron Man's mantle.
Yeah.
The very intelligent Riri Williams.
That'll be interesting. I'm excited for Ironheart.
Yeah, I am too. But I'm excited. Also, can I just say, I've been waiting for Namor, like, since Endgame and Infinity War. Like, there was a scene when they were talking about, like, oh, there's like these blips in the water that are kind of weird, and then Captain Marvel just like blew it off.
Endgame?
I was like, that's Namor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have like this love-hate for his introduction, because we finally get like a Latino casted person for like the MCU who's not the guy who talks a lot in Ant-Man. And the first clip we get of him is him coming out of water with his wetback. And I'm like, y'all gave me my Latino MCU person, and y'all had to give him a wetback. Anyways.
That was the first thing we saw in the trailer?
The first thing we saw of Namor.
Or, like, was he in the water?
He was coming. We saw literally his back coming out of the water. And I was like, sneaky, sneaky. I don't think that's what they were intending, but I was like,
no.
Did you just...
They're like...
He said, this is a Hispanic, just so y'all know. The only thing that made me mad, I said, but...
No comment.
No, because I'm the only one who would notice this.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone on Twitter somewhere like commented on it too, but it's hilarious to me.
Yeah, there's for sure someone else.
That's kind of like picking up from, and that's like a whole separate thing, like Dragon Ball Z and Frieza calling Goku and Vegeta monkeys. So like, I don't know. He's saying monkey a little bit too comfortably.
They're apes.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. Yeah.
No, yeah. Oh my gosh. I love the Marvel Universe. As much as I said I hated it earlier, I do love it.
Yeah.
Just have to reappreciate it now.
Yeah, and like you said, the fans of things are sometimes the worst. I've been scrolling through reviews of She-Hulk, and there's this one that says it's 1 out of 10 stars. Cringe is the title. They are nice enough to make us a pros and cons list. So they say pros, cons.
Oh, no.
Cons: terrible acting, terrible writing, bad CGI, bashing men, perpetuating every negative female stereotype. So bashing women. I had to severely cut down my review for IMDb, even though I did not violate their guidelines. In parentheses.
And that's the end. Guidelines.
Dude, sometimes the fans are the worst. That is one thing that did stick out to me, though. Her CGI, obviously not as developed as Bruce's, because they've been working on his model for years and years now.
Well, the show probably just like took the model that already existed from the multi-million-dollar movie being made, and then they had to make her a model. Exactly. Which my only issue with it is that, like, she does look like the actress, but she doesn't. But she, like, it's very little things that, like, I'm like, oh yeah, that is like her face, but I'm like, they almost like tried to make her very pretty in the wrong way.
Yeah. Like,
it's kind of weird. Like, I'm like, that's not her. Because, like, Mark Ruffalo, you look at his face long enough and you're like, that's Mark Ruffalo.
Exactly.
That's Bruce.
Yeah. Well, they look similar back and forth between, especially smart Hulk and Bruce.
Professor Hulk.
Yeah. But she... like, her hair grows out, which changes her look a lot, which, is what happens, but... I
don't think how she went from, like, this, like, curly hairstyle to, like, hulking out and becoming, like, a blown-out, like, woman and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't... She doesn't look like... I mean, like, there are similarities and all that kind of stuff, but for some reason, I'm like, this seems like not totally different person, but... This does seem like a different person.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's also like difficult for me because I think in real life the actress is like 5 something. She's short. She's a tiny little thing. Love her. And then like She-Hulk is like 6 something.
6'7".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tall woman.
Wait, in her human form or
in her Hulk form? She's
Hulk
6'7".
Okay.
Yeah.
But in human form.
Human form, she's like I want to say she's 5'2", but I think I'm confusing her with Lady Gaga's height because like in my memory bank of all famous people and their heights, my numbers are wrong.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I think she's short. She's on the shorter side, which isn't a problem because CGI obviously. But I'm like, she's very tiny, so I feel like whatever they did to like CGI her like as a bigger person. Like, didn't work right.
Yeah. Did it say how tall she was in the comics? In her human form?
Jennifer Walters. She seemed like she was like a bombshell tall type lady. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she was like 5'8".
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really
Doesn't
change.
matter.
Yeah, because
I'm
when she
fine now.
transforms or whatever. I mean, she plays the character very well, in my opinion. Just, you know.
I do like her. I
Yeah.
do like her a lot.
Yeah.
Good show. I'm happy to see where it goes, and I am down with anything new MCU wise.
Okay, Jennifer
Really?
Halters is like 5'10". That's a model.
Yeah. Yeah. But all in all, I mean, yeah, it's still good.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, personally, I like the different styles in the shows.
Mhm.
And I think one of the things the fans don't like is that it's not like this, it's not like that. They're not consistent in this manner. But Miss Marvel, you know, it's it I think it goes what is the word? It's really directed at the younger audience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um
For Miss Marvel, you said?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely brand it more towards a younger audience.
Mhm.
And with She-Hulk, I don't know. I feel like people get mad at like that person did, the wokeness of like
Mhm.
the thing, and I think that people can't just look past like other people having different experiences than them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to enjoy the media they give us. Because this is like the
Exactly.
first time in our history where we've gotten actual like pretty decent like live action hero shows. Like I don't know if you guys probably don't, but like the Hulk from the 70s was
I've seen clips and stuff of the old.
yeah, it was a thing, and we are not in that time anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just really want to try to enjoy it, and once again, like remind myself like the MCU is its own universe in the multiverse. So if it doesn't follow the comics,
That's okay.
because they are making like they're taking from the source material and making their universe.
Mhm.
100%.
My roommate and I like argue about this all the time. Like she's like a bigger comic nerd than me, and like I wouldn't say we get into screaming matches, but I go to bed disturbed. Like, I'm gonna move out right now. She's getting on my nerves.
Wow.
She's gonna kick me out one day because of my opinions on Marvel.
I just like what I like, okay? It's not good enough. Get out of the house.
Jennifer Walters is supposed to be 5'10". Ew.
It's like you can't all, you know.
I know.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Well, we're just working with the media we're given. I'm just a
Yeah.
consumer. I pay the $7 to watch it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly, I was so skeptical when it came to WandaVision.
Really.
But I was like, dude, this is good.
Yeah.
But like when people bring up like their cons about the show, I'm like, this is, to me, it's not, it doesn't make any sense. They're like, oh, expecting this and that. I'm like, these characters weren't exhibiting anything of the sort that would, like, all this action, all this crazy stuff. Like, like Scarlet Witch, she had stuff going on. Like, and this is more of like psychological in a sense. Like, she's dealing with some things. She's dealing with loss, all this stuff,
Grief,
and her backstory. How do you think it's supposed to be told?
Yeah.
And,
When people
Yeah,
get
good
mad
point.
at content not being the way that they thought it would be in their head, like that's where it falls apart a little bit. Like you have to go into a show and expect things you have to let them come at you, and then process how they work with everything else that has been introduced
yeah.
in
Yep.
everything so far. And I don't think people do that enough.
I remember getting into a conversation with someone about how they didn't like how Wanda was grieving. And I was like, that's a really weird thing to get specific about.
Super weird.
And once again, even though she is a hero, she is not the hero. She's supposed to be a flawed human, with a traumatic past, whose grieving is going to be from a broken point of view. I love Vision, but she did fall in love with a robot.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole.
Yeah.
If anything that I hate about the entirety of the her storyline is that it's a robot. She fell in love with a robot.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with her.
She fell in love with the physical body of Jarvis.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Did they make love?
they're kids apparently. So.
Well, they
But like,
kind of have kids.
but in the MCU, she made up. They were made up in her mind. I mean, in the comics, I don't know how.
I
don't.
didn't
Her
read
kids.
the WandaVision comic that came out, so I can't remember how they had them.
Because I don't know if she like.
They're little magical technology babies.
Yeah.
You just got a bunch of nuts and bolts and magic over it.
Yeah.
Definitely lots of nuts.
So that whole thing, like that's what.
Okay.
Woo! Still got it.
This guy is a dad. No, yeah, I'll have to do, like, I gotta, like, deep dive it back into my comics, because there's so much happening. I'm, like, getting out of touch.
Yeah, I'm not a big comic reader.
Why did it
either.
take me so long? I'm like, what? All
Just
right.
a little behind. That's all right.
You guys
That's
got
all
it. You guys got it.
This guy's not married.
Yeah.
He don't get it.
That's true. You guys are married. That's crazy. You
That
have 2
is-
kids and.
Just to clarify, we're not married together.
No, yes. We are not married. I am married to someone, and she's
You had
married
2
to
kids.
No.
someone. Yes.
I ordered my husband online.
Yeah.
And he's still in Europe, stuck in customs.
Shipping is horrible.
Yeah, I couldn't afford to ship him over, but I paid for that license, baby.
Plot twist: they're shipping you out.
Oh, no.
It's like, wait a minute, this is not what I paid for.
Wait, we could change up topics. Do you guys want to change up topics, or?
We're an hour into this, so
I know we are.
Yeah, we're like.
this is our Marvel
I
cast.
think
Yeah.
53
Do you have
minutes.
anything you
Then-
would like to talk about? I mean, we could make a
I
fourth
just
one.
don't. Yeah, let's. As far as this episode is concerned, this is our Marvel episode. We'll end
Okay.
it here.
This is our MCU She-Hulk
yes,
episode.
the She-Hulk update episode. We'll have to, touch on the new episodes and make this like
She-Hulk
a
and
thing.
her place in Marvel.
Exactly.
Mm.
But hey, this has been Inexperience Points. I'm Zach.
I am Savvy.
And I'm Zora B.
Thanks for joining us. We'll hope to see you next time.
Yeah. See you next time. Peace.